In the days when the first great migrations took place, when people sought new lands to call their own, there lived a man named Koza. He was a man of great resolve and vision, one whose heart longed for a place where his people could live in peace, free from hunger and fear. Together with his wife and a small group of fellow villagers, Koza set out from their ancestral home somewhere in the regions of Southeast Asia, following the call of destiny toward an unknown land. They journeyed through dense forests where spirits whispered through the leaves, crossed rivers that roared like thunder, and climbed mountains that rose into the clouds. Days turned into months, and the travelers endured both hardship and wonder. The world around them was wild and alive, a realm where man and spirit still walked close together. Koza carried with him a walking stick, known as Kashuchi, carved from the heart of a sacred tree. To him, it was more than a support for the weary. It was a symbol of endurance and faith, a reminder that the Creator guided their path even through uncertainty. After many moons of travel, Koza and his group arrived at what is today known as Shajuba. Exhausted yet unbroken, the travelers gathered near a clearing surrounded by ancient trees. Koza, though tired, still held within him the fire of perseverance. Standing in the open field, he raised his walking stick toward the heavens and prayed, "O Creator, show us where we must go. Laid our feet to the land you have prepared for us." Then, with solemn reverence, Koza struck the walking stick deep into the earth. The stick quivered, and before their very eyes, it leaned, gently but unmistakably, toward the east, the direction where the sun rises. To the people, it was a clear sign. Koza bowed his head in gratitude. "We shall follow where the light leads," he said. And so, once again, the weary travelers continued their journey eastward, guided not by maps, but by faith and the hand of destiny. After countless days of walking, the group came upon a land unlike any they had ever seen. The soil was dark and rich, the rivers ran clear as crystal, and the air carried the scent of ancient trees and wildflowers. Birds sang in harmonious tones, and the wind itself seemed to welcome them. Koza fell to his knees and placed his palm upon the earth. The warmth of the soil filled him with peace. "This," he whispered to his wife, "this will be our home." And so they began to build. Using bamboo, vines, and wood, they constructed their first shelter. Koza's wife planted flowers by the entrance, offering them to the spirits of the land as a gesture of respect and gratitude. Koza, in turn, sowed the sacred rice seeds he had carried throughout the long journey, seeds that represented hope and survival. The land was kind to them. Soon green shoots sprouted, swaying gently in the wind. The rivers provided fish, the forests offered fruits and game, and the people flourished. When harvest came, the grains were golden and full, filling their baskets to the brim. The villagers sang songs of thanksgiving, and Koza's heart overflowed with gratitude. Not far from their new home stood a large flat stone, smooth, ancient, and unlike any other in the area. It was broad, untouched by cracks, and strangely warm under the sun. Some said it shimmered faintly at dawn, and others whispered that it hummed softly, as if carrying a hidden life within. The villagers often passed it without thought, but Koza felt drawn to it, sensing that the stone held a spirit older than time itself. One afternoon, while preparing his harvest, Koza spread his newly threshed paddy upon the stone to dry under the warmth of the sun. The surface was perfect, flat, clean, and firm. As dusk approached, he returned to collect the grains, but when he looked down, his eyes widened in disbelief. The grains had doubled. Where he had laid one basket, there were now two. At first, Koza rubbed his eyes, thinking it a trick of the light. But when he used the stone again the next day, the same miracle occurred. Each time he laid his paddy upon the stone, the grains multiplied twofold. For many days, Koza kept the secret to himself. He feared the villagers might not understand. But eventually he told his wife, and together they gave thanks to the Creator. They called the stone Tsotawo, the Spirit Stone, for it was clear that it held divine blessing. From that day on, the family prospered. Their granary overflowed, their fields stretched wider each season, and their home became a place of abundance. No one in their household ever went hungry. and their kindness extended to their neighbors. The land thrived, and the people believed that the spirit of Tsotawo watched over them. Years passed, and Koza and his wife were blessed with 3 sons. The family lived in peace, guided by the wisdom of their parents and the grace of the Creator. The sons grew strong and skilled, each inheriting their father's diligence and their mother's faith. They learned of the Tsotawo stone and the prosperity it had brought. But as time went on, what began as reverence slowly turned to temptation. When Koza grew old, he no longer worked the fields as before. The care of the land and the stone passed to his sons. At first, they shared the blessings of Tsotawo as one family, but soon whispers began to rise among them. One would accuse the other of taking more paddy to the stone. Another would claim that his portion of harvest was lesser. What was once a house filled with laughter became filled with suspicion and envy. Their voices, once warm with brotherhood, grew sharp with anger. Each began to see the stone not as a gift, but as a possession. The youngest brother, often quiet and thoughtful, became the target of jealousy. The more they quarreled, the colder their home became. Koza and his wife, now frail with age, watched in heartbreak. They had dreamed that their sons would live as one family, united by the Creator's blessing. But now they saw how the same blessing had become the seed of discord. One silent night, when the moon was full and the valley lay bathed in silver light, Koza's wife made a solemn decision. She rose quietly, her heart heavy but resolute. She gathered dried perilla stalks and dead twigs, laying them carefully beneath the great stone. Koza watched her in silence, understanding the sorrow in her eyes. They both knew what must be done. Before setting the fire, she knelt and performed an ancient ritual of atonement, offering a prayer to the spirits of earth and sky. Then she whispered, "If this blessing brings division, let it return to where it came from. Let peace dwell among my children once more." With trembling hands, she set the fire alight. The flames rose, licking the sides of the stone. The air grew heavy, and a strange hum filled the night, the same gentle sound that had once emanated from the stone, now turning mournful. Then a deep crack split its center, echoing through the valley like a lament. And from its heart emerged of what looked like a glowing pigeon, ascending into the night sky. That was the spirit of Tsotawo returning to the heavens. When the light faded, silence fell. The stone laid split in pieces, its power gone. At dawn, when the sons awoke and saw the broken stone, their hearts were crushed with guilt. They realized what their greed had cost them. The power that once united their family had vanished, and with it, the peace that had blessed their home. Ashamed and sorrowful, they approached their parents. Koza and his wife, though heartbroken, forgave them. They reminded their sons of a truth the Creator had long taught, that blessings must be held with humility, or they will turn to burdens. The brothers could not bear to remain together in the place where they had quarreled. They decided to part ways, each journeying in a different direction to seek new beginnings. Before leaving, they took with them fragments of the broken Tsotawo stone, carrying its memory as a reminder of their folly. As the brothers parted, each walked toward a different land. One traveled north into the high hills, another west toward the valleys, and the youngest journeyed further east into the dense forests. In time, their descendants grew into different tribes and peoples, each carrying a piece of the ancient wisdom of Tsotawo. It is said that these fragments became the spiritual roots of the many tribes of Nagaland, the Angami, the Lotha, the Sumi, and others of the Chakasang regions. Though they were separated by distance, all were bound by the same ancestral story, the same bloodline that once stood together beneath the light of Tsotawo. As for Koza and his wife, they remained in the land that had given them both joy and sorrow. Their home became a sacred place. The main body of the Tsotawo stone remained there, in what is now Kejakeno village. Over time, the stone became a place of reverence. People from neighboring lands and from other community who knows the tale still came to see it, to offer prayers, and to remember the lesson it carried. Even today, in the hills of Kejakeno, the remnants of the Tsotawo stone lie weathered and broken. Time has dimmed its surface, yet those who visit say they can still feel an aura of calm when they touch it, as if the stone remembers.